You're listening to KDHS 98.9 FM. I'm DJ Meesh Izzi, and we are here with Natalie Carroll of Valley Queen from Echo Park, Los Angeles. Hello, Natalie. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thank you. I like your DJ name.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It's a mix of my first name and my last name. Where did you guys come up with that name, Valley Queen?
Well, it's kind of inspired by a place that I've heard about that I haven't actually gone, and I would like to go there at some point. It's a place in Egypt. I believe it's in Cairo. I could be wrong about that, but the ancient Egyptians would bury their dead patriarch and their dead matriarchs in their own kind of designated valleys that they called the Valley of the Kings, and then they had a Valley of the Queens where they would bury their dead matriarchs. And I just kind of like that image of Valley Queen. I think it kind of like harkens back to like dead matriarchy. I don't know, it's kind of dark, but I think that that's a very grand image, you know, women of the past and matriarchal societies. That's kind of something that I wanted to conjure in the band name. I don't think everybody thinks of it that way, though. I think, you know, we live in Los Angeles. We're in Southern California. I think people immediately think of the Valley. And if you look up our band name hashtag, it's like a bunch of drag queens under the Valley Queen hashtag. So
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I don't think everybody thinks of Valley of the Queens in Egypt when they think of our name, but I do, so whatever.
And now I will, and now our listeners will, and I actually am really glad that I asked that question because I've been drawn to your name and wanting to ask you about it, and now I know the ideology behind it. It was fantastic in my opinion. I'm a little obsessed with matriarchies of the past, and I think we definitely need to have a little bit more of a women-run community by women for women matriarch type situation out in the social world of America, however that could manifest. Not saying we need a monarchy, but, you know, we definitely need to have a full maiden, mother, crone, like, loving going on, because I think there's so much separation between the generations of females in this country.
I think that's so true, and I see it happening in our culture and this rising up of the female. I don't know if it's because I've gotten older, and so I feel it's happening in myself, so therefore I see it around me. You know, I more and more, I just feel like I'm seeing these really outspoken, really focused, really smart women that are starting to take place in our dialogue in a way that they hadn't or weren't allowed to before, and I think it's just super rad.
I definitely agree. You're giving me chills right now, Natalie.
Oh!
Just so you know, you're awakening my divine feminine a little bit. You're making the goddess within come out. I'm really grateful for that.
We're only like 5 minutes into the interview. This is good stuff.
My kundalini's just going crazy right now, Natalie.
Yeah, well, you know, I think that there's something about the feminine that is very scary to us, and what I kind of think of is like yin and yang. You know, yin is the feminine, and in that tradition, the yin is kind of dark and it's kind of damp and it's secretive and highly intuitive, you know, kind of damp and wet and mushy. And I think, and, you know, it's nighttime. It's kind of that shadow realm. And I think our psyche is kind of been built to fear it. And I think that that's what we see when you harness that yin energy, it becomes quite powerful. And
I agree.
And quite healing if it's used in the right way. And I think, here I go. I'm riffing now.
Here we go. We're putting those transmissions out.
Yeah, I think if we hide it and if we damn it and kind of turn our feminine energy into something that needs to be kept a secret, I think it can wield some really destructive power. And I mean, destruction is not always bad. Sometimes we need destruction, but I think that that's how it can sometimes show up in our addictive personalities and our secretive personalities and the part of us that we don't want to show. I think that that's the feminine energy maybe being harnessed in not the most healthy way. And so something that I really want to create with my band and with what I do is harnessing maybe that darker, both creative and destructive energy and using it to create music and put it out there in that way, because we all have that kind of dark feminine energy about us, and it's all about what we do with it, I think. So
I love it.
That.
I could go on for hours about this with you. I love it. I'm so glad that you're speaking so deeply about this topic, because culturally females have usually been ostracized in our mainstream culture. For instance, there's been like Cher, who was a huge kind of like darker feminine that came out in the 70s and 80s, and even though she's still going on, I don't think she gets as much of the credit and seriousness of what she brought to the table as compared to Madonna or some of the more lighter versions of the feminism that have come out. That have been controversial as well, but I think there are definitely some female characters, female vocalists, female actresses, female entertainers in general that have been kind of put in the background labeled as like the witch, or labeled as, oh, we don't mess with that kind of energy. And so I'm really grateful to hear that you're able to harness that with your sound, and it's very obvious in your sound that you are harnessing some deep stuff within yourself and pulling that out. So how does your band hold up to that? I know you have males playing instruments in the band. How do they dip into that with you? Are they ever resistant, or are they able to flow with you?
No, I don't. There's no resistance, and I feel really blessed by that. And I don't know if maybe they're just attracted to that kind of music and to what I'm doing. I don't know, but they stand up in their own right as musicians, and they have something to express too. And there's a reverence that I have for them and what they're trying to do as well, because as much as there's that, feminine energy in me that I feel like has been blocked in society in a lot of ways, there's a feminine energy in them too, and they very much crave to get in touch with it as I do. I think I'm all about female power, and I'm all about girl power, like to the end. I'm a champion of that, but it takes both of us. It takes male and female both, and I'm in no way want to alienate the men in my life from what I'm trying to do, because as much as I have that feminine energy in me, they have it in themselves as well, and they're probably just as thirsty, if not more thirsty for it, because I think that males are very much encouraged not to get in touch with their femininity in any way. It's a sign of weakness in our society, when really like their emotions and their tenderness that men have. Men are so freaking sensitive, man.
Oh, they are.
So
they really are. As the mother of a son, I definitely feel that. There's definitely something there that's been held back from the men, for sure.
Right. And they have just, as much as women need to speak up and need to have a grander, more space in the public dialogue, I think men need space to express their feminine too. And I think that playing music is kind of that feminine energy. And there's masculine things about it too, don't get me wrong. The guitar is just a big fat phallus, isn't it?
Oh, right. It absolutely is. And your band is just so absolutely dynamic together. I came up and saw you guys at Pappy and Harriet's this past weekend, and it was phenomenal to watch you guys playing, just to hear the sound, hear what you guys were all doing with one another, and how just seriously robust your sound is as a whole together. So I really applaud you guys for being able to mesh your energies together and produce that as a band. Has it always been that way with you guys? Or I hear you guys have got a new guitarist and maybe a new drummer. Or how did you meet these people? How did you come across your band? How did Valley Queen come to be?
Yeah, what you saw with that, it's the newest form of us. I started a band called Mojo Stone with my buddy David. We met in college, and he really brought out the music inside of me and really encouraged me to write and really helped me along, and we helped each other along for, about 5 years. And then he wanted to spread his wings, and he wanted to start making music with his girlfriend Amanda, who's a dear friend of mine, and they've got a great duo. Their name is Bjorn and Son, and they're just traveling across the country right now. They're living in Nashville for a while with some friends of mine, and they lived in New York for a while. And so, he's out there living out his gypsy-ness. It was time, it all happened quite naturally, and he left, and we were kind of like, well, what do we do now? What exactly do we want? And I feel like Sean just happened. He just kind of fell into place. He was friends of friends in this Echo Park community of musicians that it's a really beautiful and diverse group of people, and I feel like I'm still very much still immersing myself in it, but there's a really cool community of musicians here that, really care about what they're doing. And Sean is absolutely one of those people, and he brings a really different energy to our band. And he's been in the band, how long has it been? A few months now. He's a guitarist, and he adds an edginess to us and kind of an urgency to the music that I think that we really needed. Jerry has been in our band for a few years, and he was a few years ago, and then he stopped, and then he came back. We've kind of gone through a lot of drummers. We've gone through about 7 drummers, but, I feel like we're really kind of fitting into a pocket now as a group, because you just have to keep playing, regardless of which players come and go, you just have to keep moving forward. But I feel like we're kind of in this blessed moment where we can just kind of be comfortable with each other and sit into it, not think about so much the technicality, just the expression,
Yeah, Newton's law of motion. Nothing will get in my way.
Yeah, absolutely.
It will keep moving. So where do you guys draw your inspirations from? Are there any bands that you guys like to pay homage to, or anybody that you guys enjoy jamming out to?
I think in the beginning it was much more of a mimicry that was happening, where you're still digging, and you're going to be digging forever. You never stop digging, but I don't feel like when I sit down to write a song, I'm trying for some kind of sound. It's really funny how it just happens and your influences pop up in these ways, in subconscious ways. It's really crazy because, I grew up in Arkansas and I grew up around the blues. I grew up in Little Rock, and, I had taken trips to Memphis, Tennessee when I was 13 and 14 and going to Beale Street and, listening to these old blues players that just play blues structures over and over, but there's so many different ways of doing it. You got Delta blues, Chicago blues, but I was very much immersed in that. And I think when I first started making music, that's what you heard. Not because I wanted to just be like them, but that's what I surrounded myself with, And when I moved out to California, there was a gradual evolution where now I feel like I kind of have a California thing that's coming out of me. And in no way did I curate that. In no way did I sit down and want to do that. It's just our environments are extremely influential over what we create and who we are. And it happened in a really natural way. I think I'm influenced by the musicians around here, like Dawes and Johnson Wilson and Jenny O and Pearl Charles, all the lollipop bands. I'm hearing what they're putting out. Chris Robinson Brotherhood, there's a West Coast thing happening, and it's kind of psychedelic and it's soulful, and I'm definitely picking up on that stuff right now, and I know it has something to do with the music that I'm creating, although I don't sit down to make music like that.
What is your process when you sit down to make music?
Sensory deprivation is key. I go and, even as a little girl, when I would sing, I would go in the closet and just sing in pitch black darkness. It does a lot for me to not be distracted. So now I go in the bathroom somewhere with no windows and I turn the lights out. It's kind of like what I have to do in order to hone in on what it is I'm trying to say. I think all my songs are really lyrically driven, and I want to be focused in that. And there's something about pitch black darkness that allows me to focus in on it. I'm often drawn to writing when I'm really bothered by something. that's going on in my life. I'm not drawn to songwriting when I'm like really in a joyful mood. I'm just not. And there was a while where I kind of beat myself up for that. I'm like, I can't write happy songs. I can't do it. You know, there's like kind of a tinge of melancholy about my songwriting, but I kind of just had to decide that was okay and that the world was going to accept my melancholy, because I think it's hard sometimes to feel accepted when you're feeling sad, when you're down and out. So yeah, that's kind of what draws me to it.
Wow, what an amazing process. Sensory deprivation. I love it.
Yeah, that's how it's been lately. But you know,
yeah.
It's always kind of changing and molding.
So you're going on tour. You're touring with Jam and the Band, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
They're managing you?
Yeah. We recently just created a partnership with them. It's been really fun and really great, really exciting. A lot's been happening, yeah.
Where are you guys going next? What's going on next?
We just did a West Coast tour, just up and down to San Francisco and back, and that was just kind of a short warm-up tour with them to just see how it went, and that was great. We actually toured with, our drummer couldn't come with us. He just had a baby, which was really beautiful. And yeah, she was born just before we left for tour, so he of course had to stay with her, little Dorothy. So our friend Nick Jones from the band The Wild Reeds, which is another really great local Echo Park band who I totally suggest you go listen to. He is the drummer of The Wild Reeds, and he's a good friend of ours and was so stoked to come with us. So he came with us, and we had a great time out there for a few weeks. We got accepted as official artists for the CMJ Festival in New York in October, so that's going to be our next traveling endeavor, I think.
Wow, congratulations.
Thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Traveling is my favorite thing to do. Traveling and making music or together are just kind of my happy place. So I'm stoked about that.
Yeah, absolutely. What a blast.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds as though people are accepting your sadness and your melancholy, Natalie. Isn't that powerful? I think that's so powerful because, I mean, it resonates with me as a listener and as an audience member. So you're doing something right. You're definitely hitting the marks that people need to be hit, I think. So thank you so much for being able to inspire that. I really appreciate it. And so is there anything else that you want to share with our listeners before we wrap this up?
Oh, has it already been? It's been 20 minutes. That went by quick.
I know. I love you.
I guess I have some stuff to say, huh?
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't have anything else to say. If you want to follow what we're doing, we're on Instagram at Valley Queen Music. We're on Facebook. You can just search us in the Facebook search bar, Valley Queen. Google us. We have a single out, Whoever Said. It's on our Bandcamp. We have a video that just came out on Huffington Post if you want to look that up too. We're around. Look us up on the interwebs. We have things to share.
You are listening to KDHS 98.9. We just had Natalie Carroll of Valley Queen, and I am your host, DJ Meesh Izzi.
It's just in the age of pluralize, it's just like, you know, why?
I'm Natalie Carroll. We're in Valley Queen. We're down here at the Coachella Valley. We're going to play you a song called Whoever Said.
Just wanna know you, just wanna show you all the love one heart can give. That's a real taste vibration, the pain and changes of the man you are, and the woman I am. When the fear